Peace, how you doing? This is Dr. Samori Swygert signing in. And today I'm going to talk about the selective biasness, the double standard of justice, and the double standard. It's embedded. It's almost genetic in the way in which the media and society handles similar cases. And so I'm going to talk about a few cases that have occurred so that people can get an understanding of what I'm talking about. What we're seeing right now, the current climate of today, you see blacks and other people of color being very verbose. We're being very loud in saying, you know what, we are tired of the inequitable distribution of punishment on us. Because if you have a white, what we're seeing are scenarios that will go something like this. A white teenager is shoplifting CDs from a store. A black teenager shoplifting CDs from a store. Police come, they may shake the white teenager down, give him a stern talking to, take the CDs back, and may give him a ticket, may tell him, look, just get out of here. Or, you know what, they may arrest him and, take him down and book him for whatever the case may be. While they're taking him down, he might even get, a good sandwich from Burger King, whatever the case may be. But if you have a black team that shoplifting CDs, it's, oh, let me get him. I'm going to take the CDs from him. I'm going to yoke him up, choke him up. I'm going to slam him on the floor. Let me put my knee in his larynx and in his throat so that it might break his windpipe or that he can't breathe. And while I'm at it, while I'm acting like I'm arresting him, I'm putting my elbow in his eye socket. And due to the excruciating pain of my knee in his neck and my elbow in his eye socket, he's going to squirm. But if he moves, then I'm going to say that he's resisting arrest. And if he's resisting arrest, I have the right to actually withdraw my firearm and protect myself and shoot him multiple times for some CDs, even though he doesn't have a weapon. This is what we're talking about. So the cry that is being put out, whether you want to say, the whole George Soros thing, I'm talking about the key issue. I'm not talking about the funding and backing. Let's move that out of the way. The key issue, the key statement of Black Lives Matter is you wouldn't do that. When it comes to the punishment, you don't exact the same punishment on whites as you do for blacks. That's the issue at stake. It is the selective biasness. And so not only are we talking about that, we're talking about how the media covers everything. This is key. Listen to what I'm saying. This is key. When things happen, the media will either, if like you have right now, you have the media saying, oh, it's a war on cops. The blacks are declaring war on cops. Black Lives Matter is declaring war on cops. Who said that? Where are you getting this from? What are your sources? Reveal your sources. Show me all the communications that you got. Now, you say that there's a war on cops. Now, you have an incident in Baltimore where some guy came down from Baltimore, shot some cops in Brooklyn. It's a war on cops. You have this instance in Texas, after the Alton Sterling shooting. They're saying that it was retribution and retaliation and payback for the Alton Sterling shooting and the Philando Castile. They said it's a war on cops. And the media builds this sensationalized story for ratings, and it stokes fear and paranoia into the psyche of the American citizenry. The police then take that and stoke it some more. You then have the backing by the Fraternal Order of the police unions. You have outcries from communities because they think that blacks are declaring war. And it's like, let's pause for a second. So I'm going to review some cases for y'all. Now, real quick, we seem to, when we talk about this war on law enforcement, it seems like we kind of forgot about, oh, let's say, Cliven Bundy. Yeah, remember the Nevada cattle ranch where you had these white militia come with AR 15s and AK 47s, highly armed with truckloads of white men and white women with guns drawn at federal officers. Uh, what do you call that? Was that not? What do we call that? So it's ironic when that happens, they cast it in the light of, oh, well, they're kind of exercising their Second Amendment rights for the constitutional preservation of rights. And so this is, it's a very sticky situation when we talk about rights. No, you have armed men threatening law enforcement. But that doesn't really, get sensationalized as a war on cops and law enforcement. Um, let's see. What about Dennis Marks? Dennis Marks was a white man in Atlanta in 2014 that stormed what? A Georgia courthouse with bombs, multiple guns, smoke bombs, firing at court officers, and they had to take him out. But that wasn't considered what, a war on cops. It's, oh well, he had some mental instability. It was just who cares if that was the case? How do you know that? How how does that tie into anything? If anything, the guy that shot the cops in Texas, who was a war veteran, you would think he would get the post traumatic stress disorder type of complaint. But that didn't go down. It was just a war on cops. Let's go a little further. What about the in Georgia? All right, a lot of people forget about this. There was a black officer that was attending to, I guess, some rowdy customers at a Waffle House in Atlanta. And it was two white men and a white woman. They started calling him all types of racial slurs, X, Y, and Z. Got physical with the officer, the black officer, beat him down, took his gun, shot him multiple times in the back, killing him. Uh, you can check that out and you'll see. And the officer's name was Kevin Jordan, and he was a father of seven, and he was a member of the Griffin Police Department. So was that not a war on cops, or was it because he was a black officer and you had three white individuals that did this? You're not seeing the double standard. Let me make it a little bit more clear. What about the Las Vegas shooting? People tend to forget about this. You don't remember, this is the Las Vegas shooting where it was almost a Bonnie and Clyde mission. It was this white guy and his girlfriend. They ran up by a Walmart and they shot up this police officer, killing him, and left a swastika and the "Don't Tread on Me" flag on him. Now they left the swastika flag on him, but that's not considered a war on cops. Well, when is it? What is the criteria? What is the inclusion criteria for you to say that it's a war on cops? Because I'm seeing this, but I don't hear war on cops when the suspects or the alleged killers are white. Now, what about Matthew Eric Frame? Do you remember Matthew Eric Frame? This was the survivalist that shot and killed one state trooper and injured another state trooper. He was a sniper, a survivalist, and he was on the hunt for days. They had to go all up inside the woods in the forest to track him down and get him. And yeah, so they finally got him, and his lawyer is actually trying to get them to throw his case out. There should be a national uproar. The fact that this lawyer even decided to do that. But for some reason or another, you don't hear that as a war on cops. But you had a white sniper shoot and kill one state trooper and injure another, but there was no war on cops. So you have that. What about this one? This one was interesting. You had a white supremacist group that's been linked to the killings of a Texas district attorney and his wife. Okay, so now they're taking out police, state troopers, uh, court officers, and uh, district attorneys. War on cops, war on law. Okay, let's move along with that. What about, it was only, I believe it was either last year or the year before. It'll make a difference. No, it was last year. It was June of last year, June of 2015. James Boulware, he actually had attacked the Dallas police headquarters in a van packed with explosives, high-powered rifles, multiple handguns, fired multiple shots at the Dallas police office headquarters. But it wasn't a war on cops. They said that he was mentally disturbed, but his father said he didn't like cops. He hated the cops, but that wasn't considered a war on cops, right? Okay, what about, we already talked about Cliven Bundy, but we didn't even mention his son, Ammon Bundy, who got into it with the federal government officers in, where was this? Oregon. In Oregon, with the Melhauer National Wildlife Forage Reserve. And his whole militia came armed to the teeth. They took over the whole National Wildlife Forage, the Melhauer Forage. But that was not a war on cops and law enforcement. Are you starting to see the theme here? This is what I'm telling you. This is what's not being discussed. Yesterday, today is the 12th, yesterday, July 11th, 2016, it was big breaking news. I was flipping through every channel. They said, you know what? There's been a shooting at a Michigan courthouse. The Michigan courthouse is under attack. Okay. That story kind of slid into obscurity. You didn't hear about it after a while. Then news broke. Oh, it was a white man that took a officer's gun and shot and killed two bailiffs. Oh, but that's not a war on cops. And then the thing is, they tried to sanitize the story. His wife said, oh, he's not a monster. He just wanted to see his kids. And he felt like if he was going to be locked up, he wasn't going to see his kids. So he got desperate. We're not interested in the sob story. You know how many men and women are locked up want to see their kids, but they're not doing that? They don't. So, no, it's a double standard. I can't forget the story of William Spangler in New York. This went down, I believe. Now, I think this case was in 2014. And what happened was, no, it was 2012. It was 2012. William Spangler, this is a white male. He set ablaze to some property in order to get the authorities and the fire department to arrive and put it out, extinguish the blaze. But what it was an ambush, and when they arrived, he was there from a distance with a rifle and shot and killed two firefighters. Is this not an attack on law enforcement? I mean, firefighters are not police, but they are still servants of the public. They have some authority when it comes to certain scenarios. So this is what I'm saying. It is a double standard, but that is not considered a war on cops. It's not considered a war on authorities. Something to think about. But you have a few incidents where you have some lone wolf whack-ball nut job decide to take matters into his own hands, and that person is the spokesperson of Black America waging a war on cops because we're simply speaking up and saying we want equal application of the law when it comes to apprehending a criminal or somebody that is breaking the law. Equal application of the law. We don't want you to discriminate by color when it comes to handing out punishment or corrective measures. That is the only thing we're saying. We should not lose our life. We have our right to a day in court. If I have broken the law, arrest me. There are multiple ways that you don't have to retrieve your firearm and shoot and kill me to subdue me, to get me under control, to arrest me and give my day in court. That's why we have due process, where if I'm wrong, then we have evidence and proof. You take me through that, and then if I'm guilty, I will either do my time, I will pay my fine, or worst case scenario, I will get the death penalty. So that's that. So there it is. Just putting out there plain and simple. It is equal application of the law and justice and not by color, which is the message that needs to be crystal clear. Crystal clear. There's no war on cops. There's no battalion. There's no army with a leader or general or lieutenant that has put out plans to declare a war on cops. Stop it. That is propaganda. That's scare tactics designed to make the cops be more aggressive. The media is engaging in very irresponsible journalism. It's not even journalism. It's garbage. All right, anyway, this is Dr. Samori Swygert signing out. Push the peace and talk to y'all later. All right, peace.